Patrick, are you ready for this?
Yes?
Okay, let's go.
I have a massive confession to make, and it might be a shock to some of you guys. I know it's been a really long time since you've been watching my content, maybe a couple of months, and you're kind of like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that Chanel is about to tell us this big, crazy, shocking secret that we just didn't see coming. And you know what? I didn't see the secret coming either. I never thought that I would share this because it is just such a big secret. And I just feel like you guys are really going to fall on the floor when you find out what the secret is. And the secret is, drumroll please, someone can you please play the drum roll? Okay. The secret that I want to tell you guys today is that I am black. Oh my god! Wow! Oh my god! What's up, Crusties? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm super excited because just like my previous video, I'm bringing you guys another tag video. Literally, the other day I was like, I haven't done a tag video in months, and now here we are, two in like 2 weeks. We love that for me. We love that consistency. I'm really pumped to do this one because in case you guys have not noticed, I am black, and so this is a tag that I should be doing. And if you're black, this is a tag that you should be doing because it's a really, really fun tag and it's super unique. This was created by Mariama, whose original video I will link down below, so make sure you guys check that out. And also down below, I will have links to petitions and donation links and ways that you can support the Black Lives Matter movement. And I will also have my social media, which I will try and put in here. Hopefully I remember, as well as my Patreon. Now that that has been said, let's get into this tag video because I'm so excited. Also, if you guys have any tag videos you want me to do or you want me to check out, let me know because I have missed doing these and I don't know why, like summertime just makes me want to do a bunch of tags, okay? Okay, let's get into these questions. So the first prompt is to tell us a little bit about yourself. So you guys already know that my name is Chanel, but you may not know that I am Nigerian. I was raised in Nigeria, South Africa, and now the United States. I have lived in 5 different countries. I am a huge fan of languages. I'm a huge fan of art. I'm a huge fan of math. I'm a huge fan of wings. I'm a huge fan of all things that are fun and creative and easy to do. I'm also super lazy, so I'm not a huge fan of cleaning. That was a random little tidbit there, and I'm saying that because I have been so addicted to Married at First Sight, and I love when people are like, I'm not gonna clean. That's just not me. And I feel like that speaks to me so hardcore. In line with that, I'm also a really huge fan of reality TV. When I say reality TV, I don't mean like Keeping Up with the Kardashians and stuff like that. I mean things like Married at First Sight or things like Too Hot to Handle. I didn't really enjoy that show, but I like things like that. I really like dating reality shows and then like kind of family reality shows, but not Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Okay. When I say family ones, I mean like Married to Medicine and things like that. Right now, I am watching Get Back with My Ex or Getting Back with My Ex or something like that. It's like an Australian reality TV show. I'm watching that with some friends and it is a mess. So if you watch that show, please let me know what you think about it because I'm only like on episode 2 or 3 and it is a disaster. Okay. Now let's get into the second question, otherwise we're going to be here forever. The second question is, who is a black author you love that a lot of people don't know about? This one I will have to pick Chidera, who is a Nigerian British author, and I really, really love her book, What a Time to Be Alone. I actually discovered her through a TED Talk she did. I think it was on loneliness or learning about yourself, and that's how I found out who she was, and I really, really enjoy her content. She does a lot of speeches and discussions on self-discovery and learning who you are and being patient and loving and kind towards yourself, and I really adore her and respect her as a person. Also, she has extremely bomb wigs, so I'm like, sis, teach me what you have. Teach me to be you. I adore her, so if you haven't checked out Chidera already, please check her out. I know she has a second book, but I don't remember what it's called. I think it's like How to Break Up with a Boy or something like that. I don't remember the name, but definitely check her out because I have heard literally no one on Booktube talk about her ever, and she definitely deserves a lot more pizzazz. So the third question is, what is the favorite book of yours about the Black experience? And for this, I will have to pick Becoming by Michelle Obama. And that's because Michelle Obama is someone who I really, really respect. And I really loved this book because, one, it was my first memoir ever. And I felt like it was a really good place to start because this is somebody who I can very easily relate to as a Black, dark-skinned woman. And I really loved seeing Michelle's story and her experience from growing up in the South Side of Chicago to going to Ivy Leagues to meeting the love of her life, to becoming somebody who was really in the limelight for so many years and dealing with that while raising a family, and then going from being in the limelight to no longer being in the limelight and having to kind of like pick her life back up and learn how to no longer be in that light while still going for the things that she wanted to go for and still protecting her family and being there for her family. And yeah, I just really adore Michelle Obama, and a lot of the things that she puts her efforts towards I think are really amazing. And for me, starting with this as my first memoir was a really great way, in my opinion, because it really helped me dip my toes in there. The fourth question is, what is your favorite book by a Black author? And for this, I'm going to choose Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. I really, really loved this book when I read it last year. I thought it was so cute. I thought the Black female plus size representation was really done well. I thought the romance was really beautiful and both characters were extremely mature, and Red was just such a great love interest. He was so interesting. He was so mature. There was amazing communication in this book, even at times when there looked like there was going to be some miscommunication, which is literally one of my least favorite tropes ever. That did not happen, and I was just so happy to read a romance book where both characters were extremely mature and they had to kind of figure out what their flaws were and acknowledge those flaws and work towards those flaws. And it wasn't like, oh, now that we're in love, everything's fixed and we're perfect and things are gonna be sunshine and rainbows. It was so well done. So if you have not read this book, please definitely check it out because, oh my goodness, what could I possibly say wrong towards this book? Nothing. This book is absolute perfection. And I honestly haven't seen anyone to this day that doesn't like this book, or anyone that's not screaming about reading the second book, including me. So get on it now and read Get a Life, Chloe Brown. The next question is, recommend a queer plus Black book, and this has to go to Clap When You Land, which I recently just finished. This book follows two sisters, one of them who lives in the Dominican Republic and the other one who lives in New York City, but their common tie is their father, who dies at the beginning of the book on a plane on his way to the Dominican Republic. This book was so beautifully done, and Elizabeth Acevedo has way of drawing out tears and emotions from people. She has a way of making you question your relationships, your life. She has a way of making you sit with your grief, your happiness, your joy, your pain. She is just such a wonderful author. This book is written in verse, and I know a lot of people kind of like side-eye novels in verse, but I highly recommend you try it out, especially through Elizabeth Acevedo. And if you're somebody who's kind of like, okay, I don't really get poetry and all of that, I'm kind of iffy, please try the audiobook because it is narrated by Elizabeth and you can feel her emotion in her words as she narrates this audiobook. It is just so amazing. Like, Elizabeth Acevedo has not disappointed me once. I've read all her books and every single book was a banger. So yes, the queer representation in this book is one of the sisters, and she is queer, and that's all I'm going to say because I don't want to give any spoilers. But please check out this book. It was so amazing. I cried so much, and funnily enough, I finished this book right when I got off a plane, and I was like, clappity clap clap clap. But nobody else clapped, so maybe people on that plane were just really boring, but that's just not my problem. That's on period. I'm not the boring one, so it's Gucci, okay? Okay. Next question is, recommend a book with a Black person on the cover, and this one has to go to All Boys Aren't Blue by George M. Johnson. I recently read this, and boy, did it make me cry. This is a YA memoir that follows George M. Johnson through his life of childhood, through high school, through college, and then kind of like to where he is now. This book was so emotional and so painful, and it was so great to read. It goes through a lot of the trauma that George went through in his childhood and in high school. We learn about all his friendships and different things that happened with those friendships, and it's just like a really great memoir. So if you haven't read it, please check it out. I don't want to say too much because spoilers, literally anything about this could be spoilers, which is really weird to say about a memoir, but this is something that everybody should read. It taught me a lot that I didn't even see coming, and it was just such an amazing read, and I cried. I still think about it. It was flawless. Another one where I would recommend the audiobook because I think it is narrated by the author, which that is always like a plus for me. If I see a book is narrated by the author, I always want to go the audiobook route because I feel like it's going to be really, really evident in the way they say the words and the way they portray the story that this is the feeling they want you to feel. Because I don't know, I just feel like when an author narrates their own book, you can really tell where they were coming from, and it's just like a really special and magical feeling. Next is a book by a Black author that makes you happy, and I'm just already gonna be happy crying by thinking about this book, and it is The Sun Is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. This book was the very first book I ever read where I felt represented as a Black immigrant. The main character is Jamaican, and she is going through her very last day in the United States because she is being deported, and on her very last day, she meets our love interest, Daniel Bay, and they basically go through New York in that day, adventuring.
Poems. What are they about? Wait, let me guess. Love.
Not all of them.
Getting to know each other. I know a lot of people talk about this book having insta-love. I personally really like insta-love in YA stories especially, so I thought it was really, really cute. I thought the immigrant representation was so well done. The Black representation was so well done, and the fact that this book is written by a Black woman, and I'm pretty sure that Nicola Yoon is also Jamaican. It was just so beautiful. Like, chef's kiss. When I tell you guys, I cried so much when I read this book. I really, really cried when I read this book because it was just painful to see and read something like that you can so heavily relate to, because again, I have still not to this day read another YA romance or another like YA or even like adult romance where I felt very represented as a Black immigrant. And I just thought this was such a special story because it also kind of gives you a lot of information on life and the universe. And one thing that I really love about this book that's super unique is the fact that you get a lot of history and background on immigration, on Black people. You get a lot of background on how things, for example, how a lot of beauty supply stores that Black people shop at are not owned by Black people and the history behind that. So you really get to learn a lot about how the world we live in today is. And I feel like Nicola Yoon really put a lot of time and effort into this story, and it really deserves a lot more appreciation and a lot more love. And every time I think about this book, I feel very happy, and I am already planning a massive reread. So this next question is to recommend some Black booktubers to you guys, and I absolutely suck at remembering people's channel names, and I tend to say people's channel names wrong. So I'm going to go ahead and link down below a bunch of Black booktubers that I think you guys should check out. Whether you like vlogs, whether you like hauls, if you love fashion, things like that, I will link all of those people down below. So make sure you check out all of those channels and you follow them, and after you follow them, make sure you watch at least one video, because that's super important to watch a video while you're following people because it helps them out. Okay, let's do this. Final question. Let's get it going. My laptop is low-key dying. I thought this was the last question, but it's technically not. But it says, talk about a book by a Black author that's coming out in 2020. And for this one, I'm going to say that I really want to read Cinderella is Dead, which is coming out soon, I think. I'm not quite sure exactly when it's coming out, but it's one of my most anticipated reads for 2020, and I just can't wait to read it. The cover is really gorgeous. For some reason, I can't find this specific cover that I'll have on the side. I can only find a different one, and I really want this specific cover, so if you know where that is, I've been literally looking. I thought it was the UK edition, but that doesn't seem to be the case, because when I like switched my Amazon, it still showed the same cover that the other one is. But besides the point, that's not the point here, but this is a book I really, really want to read. I know this is a Cinderella retelling, obviously, but I don't know much else about the book, just that it's gorgeous. It's by a Black author. There's a beautiful Black person on the cover, and so it deserves and will get my reads and my coin. Okay, and I'm also going to tag all the people that I have down below to do this. I'm tagging anybody who is a Black booktuber to do this. Do it, please. Do it, do it, do it, just do it. You deserve to do it. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Don't forget to also check out all those petition links I have down below, the donation links, the links to all the different booktubers, and the links to all my socials and Patreon. And if you watch the entirety of this video, leave a flower emoji somewhere in the comments. Any flower emoji, you can even type flower emoji. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. It was a mess because your girl is just like, oh. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I will see you in the next one. Bye.